Longtime Warriors analyst, getting ready to board a plane here, Jim. I know time is short here. I appreciate you taking some time to visit with us.
I'm glad to be on your show, and I'll be in Cleveland tonight to see Game 4.
All right, before we get to Game 4, just the general here. What the heck happened in Game 3?
Well, the Warriors did not match the initial intensity that Cleveland had, and it's interesting because everyone knows that's going to happen because that was a must-win for Cleveland. There's no way they could get down 3-zip and come back in that series, and so I don't know why the Warriors were so surprised with that. I just don't think that they were ready with it. You know, this is playoff intensity, and you have to raise it to another level. And this is LeBron James and company. And Kyrie Irving got off to such a great start. And once somebody gets going like that, he was impossible to stop. He had a terrific game, 16 points in the first quarter. And I thought the Warriors, they didn't stick to their game plan early on. And individuals were taking shots, Curry, Thompson, Draymond Green. And rather than pass the ball and do what has been successful for them, pass, cut, make a few passes, you know, like the old high school drill. Okay, guys, I'm going to learn some discipline. We can't shoot the ball until we make 6 or 8 passes, something like that, back to basics. And they got behind the 8 ball, and they just never recovered. And their defense had been so terrific, it just snowballed for Cleveland. It just was atrocious.
How important is it to get the Splash Brothers off to a good start early in this game?
Well, I think you can manage a game and let the game come to you. And I believe I thought they tried to force it, both Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. And you can kind of let the game come to you. You've got to be aggressive. And that's where I thought Stephen Curry wasn't aggressive at all. He seemed kind of not present in the situation, in fact. And you have got to match that kind of intensity that Kyrie Irving, once in a while, maybe you grab him and you throw him down to the ground to get off, you know, to get away from the physicality of it all, even if you pick up a foul. So you pick your spots there, but Stephen Curry didn't look like Stephen Curry. That's the main thing. And 3 games now, neither one of those players has scored 20 points. And here's Thompson having a terrific postseason, averaging about 24 coming into this series. And Stephen Curry, you know, with the injuries and in and out, but he's been superb when he's playing. And I think he's 100% physically okay. But mentally, I just didn't see him engaged in the game like I've seen. And that's a danger sign for Cleveland, though, because only once did they lose 2 games in a row this year, and that were games 3 and 4. They did the same kind of thing they did in Cleveland in game 3, and they got blown out in Oklahoma City. So that's the only times they've lost back-to-back games all year long on going to a 73-9 record. And they usually respond very favorably, and we're going to see how that plays out because you don't want to go back home 2-2. You're just playing with fire that way.
Jim, everybody talked about the physicality. I know Coach Lou mentioned the physicality, and Steve Kerr kind of questioned a little bit of the toughness of this Warriors team. Did this game feel that much more physical than what you saw in Game 1 and 2? Well,
perhaps it was physical on the part of Cleveland, and Tristan Thompson was physical inside. They got killed on the boards by, I believe, 52-32, and they were just the more aggressive team. And Draymond Green, you know, Steve Kerr is a great communicator, and he's not going to call anybody out, but he makes some generalizations and wants to get the attention of the team, and he's usually very successful in doing so. So he's the one that said that they were soft, and, you know, the Warriors were soft. And Draymond Green agreed. You know, he's the vocal leader of the team, and he can take that kind of criticism, if you want to call it criticism. But I don't know whether it was any more physical, except just playing aggressively, picking up near half court, not switching on plays. That's one of the reasons the Splash Brothers couldn't get loose is because, you know, Kyrie Irving didn't switch as much, and I think they switched too much in the NBA. And I like their game plan defensively, Cleveland's, because they tried to stay with their men more often than not, because there's nothing better than a small man like Stephen Curry to have a big man come out on him, because then you own him. And you've got such a great advantage with your speed, quickness, and ball handling. So their game plan that way. But I didn't think it was that much more physical, if you will. But you've got you know, when you're going for a rebound, you've got to want the ball, and that's the mindset that Draymond Green has had all season long. He just plays bigger than his 6'7" size.
How much of a concern is it with these on-ball screens that got Kyrie Irving going early, bringing a big out there, and it looked like they had some success with that early. What's the counter to that for the Warriors?
You're at his mercy because actually Kyrie Irving doesn't need a screen. I think he's the quickest player on the floor in this series. I mean, he is very gifted, very quick with the basketball. He's a terrific driver and finisher. And if he's got his outside shot going, which he did the other day, which he had it going, the offense always has the advantage. So if I'm Stephen Curry, I'm going to try to press him a little bit, make it difficult, take him out of his comfort zone, just like they've done to him. But this is the NBA, and you've got talented players. These are the finals, and these are stars. And it's, you can go for a game plan. I used to defend Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe, and all those guys. And I was a good defender. And some nights I just couldn't do it. There's nothing I could do. There's nothing I could do because particularly when you're guarding Jerry West, he's going to do what he wants to do because that's why he's the star.
Yeah, you get the logo. If you become the logo, I guess you can probably put the ball on the hoop a little bit there with Jerry West. Not a little bit of a challenge there. Jim, I know you got to get on the plane here. What's your expectation for this game, though? Your prediction, if I can get one from you.
Well, I don't know any more than you because this team has surprised me. And it was a 63-point swing from game 2 to 3. Warriors won by 33, and then they lose by 30. Jekyll and Hyde. I'm hoping that they're going to get back and hope they get the wake-up call that they don't have to suffer like they did in Oklahoma City, because had it not been for a 41-point outburst by Klay Thompson hitting 11 threes in Game 6 in Oklahoma City, the Warriors would be watching OKC and Cleveland in the finals. And as I say, you're just playing with fire that way. So, I mean, I'm always optimistic. I've seen this team all season long. You don't get to a 73-9 record by accident. You don't have the record that they've had on the road, which was 34-7, which is an NBA record. Stephen Curry, the unanimous MVP, who made 402 threes this year, and had 40 games, by the way, of over 30 or more points. 40 of that total, 30 or more points in those games, and shooting the way he did, over 50% from the field and over 45 from three-point range with all the crazy shots he takes, and 90% from the line. I'm hoping that he gets back to his normal self. That's what the great players do. That's why I'm really befuddled and a little confused over these first 3 games, even the games they won, because to me it was the bench of the Warriors that particularly won the first game, and then the second game was kind of a blowout, so there was no pressure on any of the stars of the Warriors. And so that's why I was very surprised about Game 3, because I thought they might take over. So tonight, we'll just see if that does happen. But as I say, I really don't know any more than you. Because I'm with the Warriors, I'm hopeful. But that's about it. All
right, Jim, I know I said that was the last question. I got to get you one more. Health-wise, Steph Curry, is he healthy to you?
I think he is. I think he's healthy physically. And when I say that, I just didn't. That wasn't his normal self the other night. His personality on the floor. I've never seen him just kind of fade into the landscape of the game where, he just looked like an ordinary player. He didn't stand out till later in the game. He had an okay shooting night at the end, but 6 turnovers. That's just not acceptable, and he knows that. And so he's got a lot of pride. I don't know whether there's pressure from the media and all of those things. I don't know. He usually handles all of those things extremely well. He's very grounded, and to me, when he's on the floor, I've always felt like there's so much. You're under so much scrutiny, and when we travel now, it's like traveling with the Beatles or Elvis. And everyone is looking at Steph Curry, and all these kids are wearing these jerseys, hundreds and hundreds of them, wherever we go, clamoring for autographs and so forth. But I've always felt that his sanctuary was on the basketball floor, and that's where he found peace, and that's where he felt comfortable, and that's where he did not look comfortable the other night. And it was almost like, as I say, he wasn't present. He wasn't engaged in the game, and to me, that's an aberration. So I'm hoping he gets back to what we've seen before.
All right, Jim, go get on that airplane. We appreciate you taking some time to visit with us. Hopefully, we'll all get to see a good game, a close game. We haven't seen a lot of that here. A little nice, close.
To have that in the series.
Nice, close basketball game. Hey, get on that plane. Thank you so much, Jim Barnett, Comcast SportsNet Bay Area Warriors analyst for quite some time.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.